Welcome to the Cowboys Corner right here on San Antonio's Sports Star. I'm James Pledger, producer of The Blitz and co-host of the Saturday Morning Hangover. He is Karl Schoening. He is the producer for R&R in the Morning. We are getting you ready for this Sunday night's game, Halloween night. Cowboys, Vikings, both teams coming off a bye. Karl, it has been a very dead yet busy week for the Dallas Cowboys. There have been some distractions. There have been questions and concerns about the health of Dak Prescott. What are you thinking going into Sunday night's game against the Minnesota Vikings?
Everybody likes to say the phrase trap game. This isn't a trap game. It just means that the Cowboys are good and they're expected to win, right? But that obviously changes if Dak Prescott can't go. And, you know, there's a lot to be said about the gap between, or at least the expected gap between Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. Much to the point where, as if Cooper Rush does go, this is almost his audition to the Cowboys to say, do we need to trade for a backup quarterback with the deadline looming on Tuesday for the trade deadline, in which case I very much believe this is almost a game where you're probably okay if you're Dallas saying, hey, it's a 17-game season. We're comfortably going to win our division. So long as everybody stays healthy, the end goal really is a Super Bowl. And yeah, I think that's the real drama this week is, will Dak play? However, if you dig a little deeper into that, I think that they almost should give Cooper Rush this opportunity to get a starting quarterback rep, because if Super Bowl is the game plan for this team, it shouldn't be Dak or bust, because they have way too many talented players around Dak to where if he goes down, they don't know what they have in their backup quarterback.
That is a great point, and it would be nice to know if going into the trade deadline there needs to be a move made. But there's also, because of last night, an opening for the Dallas Cowboys. If you win this game, you are now tied for the best record in the NFL and tied for home field throughout and tied for the number one overall seed and the bye week in the first round of the playoffs. Like, these are things that a team with a Super Bowl aspiration definitely have circled. I know they're comfortably ahead in their division, and that's the least of my concerns because I have shifted my expectations with the Cowboys' performance so far this season. And right now, this is a team that is one of the handful of teams that you believe can not only compete, but also win a Super Bowl with the way they play both on offense and on defense. So you have to weigh the fact of, do we chase the goal of, home field throughout, or do we chase the goal of, we got to make sure Dak is ready to go by the time the playoffs get here?
Health is the most important thing in the NFL. If you're the healthiest team and you're clicking on all cylinders, then that's what'll win you a Super Bowl, because right now, the worst-case scenario is they rush Dak back too quickly, and all of a sudden he has a calf injury that keeps him out 4 to 8 weeks, as opposed to if they just rested him this week, he has 2 weeks off, and he comes back next week fully healthy. It is only week 8. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Mm-hmm. Even though if there is a sprint of a league, it is the NFL, and there's now 17 games scheduled. So I would almost err on the side of caution and assume that over the bye week, Cooper Rush probably did get a lot of reps with the ones. And this is almost NFL gamesmanship in a way where, yeah, we would love it if Dak plays, but we're not going to tell you whether or not he's going to play or even really give an update on his status. The air of mystery is always never going to be revealed until they have to absolutely reveal it, which tends to be Sunday sometime during the day for these Sunday night games. And that's pretty much where I think we have to expect the Cowboys here in the next 48 hours to just keep that air of mystery up. Mike McCarthy said on R&R this morning that he's okay having a decision going into the flight. We're not going to know what that decision is until a little bit before kickoff on Sunday night. So I imagine that this is a situation, not to talk in circles, but Cooper Rush's big opportunity, or it was nothing, and Dak Prescott's fine, and he took the whole bye week. That came at an appropriate time. If you were going to get a little calf injury at the end of a game, it would be right before a bye week to heal on up.
Now, looking at this Sunday's opponent, the Minnesota Vikings, they obviously aren't one of the classes of the NFC, but they are definitely one of the best teams that they faced in the last month of the season. They are a team with a winning record. They have Dalvin Cook at running back. They have two great receivers in Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. And, of course, Kirk Cousins may be the best quarterback they've faced over the last month of the season.
That's a fair point there on Cousins. Overall, it's a pretty balanced offense, if not a little bit above middle of the pack, ranked 13th. Their defense is really where they shine. They're the sixth-rated defense in the NFL, 12th in passing, 13th in rushing. But, yeah, it's not a pushover team by any means, but it is also a team that is not going to be the toughest one you face either. So that's why every now and again, we talk about those trap games. There are no such things as trap games to these guys. That's something that us as fans and media members talk about. These Cowboys are going to approach it. Mike McCarthy, let me get this stat right, is 10-4 coming off of a bye week in his career. So he knows how to prepare his teams for the upcoming contest. Meanwhile, Mike Zimmer, the Vikings, also coming off of bye weeks. Mike Zimmer is 3-4 following a bye. So you assume that McCarthy does a better job of having his team prepared for a game where they've had a whole 2 weeks to get things set up. So even if you do throw out Cooper Rush out there, then, yeah, you're probably going to be a little more confident in the Cowboys and all of their weapons than if maybe this were a week where Dak had just injured the calf and he's going to try and give it a go, or they do have to throw in Cooper Rush on only a week's preparation. So no matter who goes out there behind center for the Cowboys, I'm pretty sure Mike McCarthy has them ready to go. And, again, against an opponent that he's not going to let them take lightly.
Expectation for Sunday night's game?
2-touchdown victory for Dallas. It'll be one of
no
those,
matter who plays?
No matter who plays a quarterback. I do think that Dallas is rolling, and a lot of that does have to do with Dak, don't get me wrong, but a lot of Dak's success comes from his weapons on his offensive side and the defense that seems to be overachieving despite some drama there. Plus, you have La'el Collins coming back off of his 5-game suspension. There's been reports that he's been running at guard a little bit, and it seems like Steele's going to stay out there at tackle. So when you have another weapon like that to implement, because there's the 5 offensive linemen do not play every single snap. So now you have another player that you can run in there somewhere between the tackles and the guards. That only makes this team better and increases maybe perhaps a slight weakness if you're nitpicking through the weaknesses of this Cowboys, a right guard. So maybe Zeke will be able to get a little bit more of a run game. I imagine no matter what happens, this will be a feed Zeke game because Zeke shows up on primetime games.
And lastly, and probably most important question, who wins the battle of the pregame fits? Because on Halloween night, I expect fire between these two teams.
Yeah, that's a funny point. You came today in your Tony Stark Iron Man outfit. I imagine these guys have a bit bigger budget than you and I do.
Much bigger.
Yeah, so they can have a little bit of fun in their pregame, and obviously it's the Sunday night game, so all eyes will be on them.
I'm expecting greatness.
You could actually just dress up like a cowboy or a Viking, and then you're in on it. You can't do that with every single mascot in the NFL. So, yeah, it'll be a fun night to see what happens before the game as well as what happens during the game.
If you had to guess which player is going to bring the most heat, it doesn't matter what team.
I want to say that Zeke seems to be the fun guy in the room, and I could see him coming in a mask where you have to say, well, who was that? And it turns out that it's Zeke. So I think Zeke will come in and maybe something legitimately scary.
I think Justin Jefferson seems like a fun dude too. I think Vikings receiver Justin Jefferson brings the fire.
All right, we got to keep an eye on social media for that stuff. I didn't even think about that.
Absolutely. Well, it's a Halloween night game. This is going to be the pinnacle, and if you most NFL games that happen when it falls Halloween week, you see certain players show up in costumes, and I just think on Halloween night, Sunday night football, the world is watching. I just expect greatness out of both of these teams when it comes to the pregame fits. He's Karl Schoening. You can follow him on Twitter at ESPN,
Karl ESPN.
Karl with a K, at Karl with a K, ESPN. You can also follow him on Instagram at Karl with a K, ESPN star. I am at I Am Pledger on both. You've been watching the Cowboys Corner. I'm James Pledger. He's Karl Schoening. We'll see you soon.